Hi everyone.
Welcome back to the Flying Fullbacks podcast. Now, today we'll be talking about who we think the most underrated players in the world are. And I'll be starting, and after that, will follow me. So, I think the most underrated player in world football right now is Marcelo Brozowicz. A lot of you might already be aware that Inter have won Serie A, and I think it's the first time in almost 10 years that a team apart from Juventus has won the league. Brozovic played a very key role in that victory. And his best attributes this season have been his passing, his defense, and his long distance shooting. Now, usually Brozovic plays in defensive midfield. He lies just above the two centre backs, but occasionally he also plays in central midfield. Now, I just want to share some stats. When you compare him to other players, other defensive midfielders, and their seasons, their 2020-21 seasons, you see just how good he was. Now, I've compared him to Hoiberg, Kante, and Casemiro. And when it comes to passing, he has the best passing percentage of all of them with 89.3% accuracy. He plays the most key passes with 1.4 key passes per 90. And he also has the most assists with six. I think he's in the top two or top three of Inter's assist providers this season. So his passing is excellent. He's not afraid to play long passes either. You see a lot that Brozovic plays long balls into Lukaku or to Lautaro Martinez, then control it, bring it down, and turn and shoot. You also know that Inter's fullbacks tend to play high, and Brozovic complements this beautifully because you can see this him dropping in between the centre backs sometimes so as to provide some additional defensive cover, which allows the fullbacks to move forward. Overall, Brozovic is an excellent player. And the thing is, I tried to find a lot of statistics. I tried to find a lot of things about him, a lot of articles about him. I just couldn't find much. And that kind of proves my point. Brozovic is quite an underrated player. He's an excellent player. He's among the best midfielders in the world right now. And yet, no one or hardly anyone talks about him. Brozovic is the most underrated player in the world, according to me. Now, what about you, Asita?
Yeah, I will not disagree with that, but I'm not going to agree with that also. So, in my opinion, personally, I think that Mason Mount is the most underrated player. It's kind of funny to say Mason Mount is underrated considering all this British hype and all this the hype that was created under Frank Lampard or what do you say, Gareth Southgate. But the thing is that he is when he's always in the media. That's not like unlike Brozovic, who is never in the media. He is in the media for the wrong reasons. He is in the media for like the fact that he is being favored or something like that. Nobody talks actually about how good he is on the pitch. Right now, I was seeing that fact that everybody is talking about Phil Foden as the best young player in Premier League right now, which is, in my opinion, completely false. You see, Phil Foden has been only good for some 15 matches or so. Mason Mount is playing consistently throughout the season, and when you look at his stats, he is the only player in the Premier League season right now with more than 70 chances created and more than 70 tackles made. I mean, that's so great considering that it shows that he is great going forward. Also, though, he is a great defensive midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder, he's a more CM kind of player. But his defensive output is also great. I mean, as you can see on the screen right now, I have compared his stats to Kevin De Bruyne, and he is almost taking blows on almost everything with Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, he is just you can say that only in passes into the box and total touches is where Kevin De Bruyne defeats him comprehensively. Otherwise, in every other aspect, he is taking Kevin De Bruyne, literally the best midfielder in the Premier League apart from Bruno right now, and one of the greatest midfielders Premier League has ever seen. And a 22-year-old guy is trading blows with him like he is just another young player. I mean, for the fact that Mason Mount as a defensive midfielder is not being talked about. I mean, between other stat I have on the screen right now, you see his chances created. He's second best in the Premier League right now. His final third pass attempted is fourth in the league right now. Passes completed is also third in the league right now. I mean, in almost every aspect, and his heat map is absolutely great. It also shows with the fact that when Tuchel came in, he dropped him because he didn't thought he was good enough. But over time, he also realized that you simply can't drop Mason Mount from this Chelsea team, and in my opinion, he is one of the, if not the main reason of Chelsea reaching the Champions League, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you make a very good case actually. And you know what? The stat that you shared, especially about the defensive ones, is very tough to argue against. I had no idea that he was that productive in defense as well as in attack. And I actually agree with you that he is quite underrated. In fact, he also made my short list. But I still feel that Brozovic is more underrated. As you said, English players do tend to get hype. And I have seen this opinion shared on not just on Twitter, but generally in the football spheres, that Mason Mount does deserve to be the young player of the year. Some people even go as far as to say that he deserves to be the player of the year, and something which I don't quite agree with. But regardless, at least people are talking about him. With Brozovic, I feel like his stats are right up there with the best defensive midfielders in the world, and just no one's talking about him, really.
I mean, nobody is talking about you. It doesn't mean that you are so underrated that you should be talked about. It just means
Well,
for a
my
fact.
stats are not on par with Casemiro, N'Golo Kante, and Højbjerg either. So
I still Mason Mount is single-handedly taking, and you have to accept for the fact that Chelsea for the first half of the season were completely abysmal. I mean, since Tuchel came in, okay, they have been a tremendous improvement apart from attack all around the pitch, but especially in the first half, he was the sole player who was carrying the team, and he is the one. And we all have talked in length about, everyone in the media, how great is this Chelsea team and how finally we have seen a real contender apart from Liverpool and Man City in the last 3 years who can actually go and win the Premier League next season. And that is all due down to Mount, in my opinion, because he is the one who's making that all this system work. Because on the pitch, he is the guy who's supposed to be only making the forward runs, but his defensive output is so great right now. Even as compared to the more Fred and McTominay kind of players who are dedicated CDMs, his stats are better than them, and the amount of distance he's covering, and he will, because he's a young player, so there's no shock there. But I mean, he's an all-round player, and
tell that to Dele Alli.
that's a debate for another day. But I mean, all-round and it's not only about the stats. His leadership quality is also there. That dude is actually playing for the batch, and that is something which is very rare to see in young players right now, especially in England. You don't see young players playing for
So
the batch, and his overall quality
I
is just
think I
something
think
you can see count on for next couple of years.
yeah, I actually think that he has been excellent. Although I wouldn't go as far as to say that he is the reason why they reached the Champions League final, or that he is the only player performing. You see,
Yeah, I mean, he's the only player performing
a
consistently
lot of
throughout the
Chelsea
season.
players are performing very well. While I do think that, yeah, maybe you could make an argument to say that he's a glue that holds them together. I think that can be an argument which can be made. But overall, I think we both made some good points. Now, let's leave it up to the audience. Please tell us who you think the most underrated player in world football is right now. Let us know in the comments. And thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in to the Flying Fullbacks podcast. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share. And for more such content, subscribe to our YouTube channel.